7 months pregnant, and my belly was literally huge. But guess what? The horn on his head was even bigger. My boyfriend cheated, then turned around and said, "It's just your hormones making you overthink." Oh, thanks for that. So, can I ask, who exactly was the one dragging you to the hotel with your colleague? Want to know what I did next? Keep listening. The twists are juicier than a midnight craving for pickles. Ever feel betrayed by a movie ticket? Yeah, sounds wrong, right? But hear me out. Then judge for yourself. At the time, I was 7 months pregnant. Emotions were like a roller coaster with no safety harness. Every time my hormones shifted, it felt like the sky was falling, both literally and in my wild imagination. But this time, that weird feeling wasn't from my hormones. It came from the printer. I was printing baby supplies orders when I spotted a strange ticket stuck in the paper tray. A movie ticket, clearly showing 2 seats. One was definitely my husband's. The other name? Not me. Not anyone in our family, and definitely not some delivery guy close enough to catch a movie while I was struggling with a pregnant belly and back pain like I was carrying a shark tank. I held up the ticket, smiling softly. Not the, "oh, it's no big deal" kind of smile, but the smiling to keep my blood pressure in check kind. I asked, "So what's this ticket about?" He looked like he was debugging a super confusing piece of code. My colleague gave it to me. It was extra. Took a friend so it wouldn't go to waste. What a sweet colleague, huh? Gave him a pair of movie tickets, perfect for the weekend prime time. I was about to ask more, but my hormones told me to chill for now. Meanwhile, my sixth sense was snapping its fingers like, "Hey, wake up already." Just to be clear, my husband's an IT guy. The kind who can handle a server meltdown without breaking a sweat. Everything has a reason, an explanation, and of course, I'm just overthinking. Oh, and his go-to line? "Must be your hormones making you too sensitive." Yep, hormones. That little phrase my best friend accidentally dropped once, and he's been using it as a shield for 3 months straight. From me crying over running out of ice cream to suspecting he was secretly texting someone, it was always the hormones' fault. Alright, I admit I was a bit tense, so I started snooping, just a little, like a best friend casually Googling her buddy's ex, not full-on FBI mode, no fake accounts, just low-key curious. Caring but not pressuring. Then, bam! The twist appeared, hanging there quietly. No drama, no explosions, just an Instagram story. Some girl tagged my husband. A photo of a teacup, the movie ticket, and the caption, "Not all Fridays are boring." I didn't see it because he'd hidden the story from me. Turns out a mutual best friend had been accidentally blocked by him once, so she saw it and sent it to me. That feeling? Not pain. More like, really? Here I was, 7 months pregnant, sitting there rubbing stretch mark cream and sipping warm water like a grandma. And him, out sipping tea and watching movies on a date. With who? A colleague who apparently knows how to use vintage filters. I didn't ask, didn't yell, didn't send any proof pics. I just scratched my chin, pulled out my phone, and saved that story like it was a meme. Then I closed my phone, fired up Netflix, and hit play on Love is Blind. Because, honestly, what's more perfect than a show about twisted love when your own life feels like a soap opera? Maybe my hormones were messing with me. Maybe I was over-dramatizing. But if cheating and hiding stories is normal, then I definitely need to relearn what having an open heart means. Honestly, the movie ticket didn't upset me as much as the phrase, "going with a colleague." Because that's a love story happening right while I'm stressing over diaper duty. And it's a gentle reminder, if I'm not careful, I'm just gonna end up as a supporting actor in my own family drama. So yeah, no big revenge yet. No dramatic confession or tear-soaked apology. Just a little heart-to-heart, a bit of itch inside, and a tiny story. Like a question mark hanging quietly in a fake calm atmosphere. And him? Still clueless about what I've seen. Meanwhile, I'm just getting started with my light snooping. To be continued. After that hidden story, I said nothing. No crying, no yelling, no making a scene. I just asked myself quietly, so who am I in his love timeline? An unapproved update? A temporary user? Or just some auto-like bot? One day, just casually, I asked him as he walked in the door, "Do you think I've changed lately?" And his answer made me wonder if some AI had taken over his brain. "I think you've gotten more negative since you got pregnant." Oh great, 7 months pregnant, battling swollen feet every morning like steamed buns, waking up at night because kicks are stabbing my bladder. And apparently, unless I'm as happy as I'm on a picnic, I'm negative. I wasn't mad, but my brain started running like a virus scanner. He began blocking a few of my friends. Why? To give you some quiet space, avoid negative influence. I asked, so you mean avoiding people who actually care about me? He went silent. That kind of silence like when the internet lags but the web page keeps spinning. I started poking around my old emails, not snooping, just protecting my account. Turns out Uber was still sending bills there. That's when I saw it. A bunch of Uber receipts heading to the hotel where I threw my birthday party last year. Back then, I was about 4 months pregnant, rocking a dress so cute it could kill, eating and laughing. Now it looks like a memory tagged with the wrong person. I checked carefully. That day, he said he was going to a team meeting. What kind of meeting accidentally detours into a suite at a hotel? Or maybe it was a brainstorming session, but with bed making? I didn't confront him, didn't throw evidence in his face. I started getting witty. Witty in the wish your ex a happy wedding kind of way. Sounds sweet, but it's got a sour aftertaste. I ordered a fancy baby shower gift online. All luxe, perfectly wrapped, with a bow bigger than a billionaire's party. Inside, I slipped in a special limited edition item, a positive pregnancy test. Fake, but emotionally real. Attached was a handwritten card, because you always wanted me to be true to my feelings. I handed him the gift. His face went from bright to the exact shade of a public restroom wall, pale enough to deserve a photo for the memories. He asked, "What is this?" I smiled, sounding like I was guiding someone through an app. "A surprise gift? I figured you'd appreciate honesty." The atmosphere? Let's just say it was thick with feelings that defy explanation. He hugged the box. I hugged my belly. But not because the baby was kicking. Because I was trying hard not to laugh. He didn't say another word. His eyes locked on me, hands clutching that box like it was evidence in a crime scene. I walked past him, opened the fridge, grabbed a yogurt cup, took a spoonful, and said, "This gift's not really for me, but your reaction feels like it's just for me." End scene. No sound, no fade out, just the silent pregnancy test, lying in the box, and a man frozen like a chatbot with a system error. The gift box was still sitting right there on the table, bow untouched, when he left for 2 days straight. I didn't ask, didn't text, didn't play the victim. I kept sleeping well, eating all 3 meals, and even ordered a couple of fried chicken deals on the app. On the 3rd morning, he walked in looking like an iPhone battery stuck in poor health mode. I was eating fried chicken, the middle piece. Crispy skin, honey spicy sauce just right. He looked at me, I looked at him. I nodded slightly, like I was waiting for an insurance salesman to convince me. "What's up? Dropped your moral compass?" His eyes were red. Hard to tell if it was from emotion or 2 nights sleeping in the car. He sat down, clasped his hands like he was about to propose again, this time for forgiveness. I know you're upset, but that was just, I ran into her a few times. Nothing serious. I never thought it'd get serious. I took another bite of chicken. Mouth said, "Uh-huh," while my brain replayed the phrase, "nothing serious." "Oh, sorry, I thought to get pregnant, you'd have to at least touch some kind of serious boundary." Before I could even laugh out loud, twist number 2 popped up like a bank app notification. The other girl messaged me. At first, I thought it was some fake account ready to throw shade. Nope. The message started with, "Hi sis, sorry to bother you, but I just found out something, and I don't know how to handle it right." I exhaled slowly, still chewing chicken. "What's going on?" "You're his wife, right?" I didn't know. I really didn't. I thought he was single. I'm only 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 2 lines, and not mine. That tasty piece of chicken suddenly tasted like the salty sting of fate's cruel smile. I didn't scream, didn't curse, and I didn't ask, "How could you be so dumb," like in the movies. I just sent back a smiley sticker, the kind with the round, wrinkled face, like someone caught in the middle of a drama but still calm enough to order bubble tea. She was confused and messaged again. "Really? Are you sure?" I didn't know anything. He told me he wasn't married. I feel like the bad guy. I wiped my mouth, kicked my feet up on the chair, and typed out each word like I was sending a memo to the clinic. "Yeah, I'm 7 months pregnant. If you need anything, I've got a list of good OBGYNs. The hospital also has VIP delivery rooms, but you gotta book early." A few seconds of silence on the other end. Then she sent an emoji, a pregnancy test stick. I didn't know whether to cry or give an Oscar-worthy performance award to the man we both shared. And then I laughed, not the happy kind of laugh. More like the, "Okay, we're really in deep now" kind of laugh after beating a tough level in a game. She sent a few apology lines after that. Not sure if they were genuine, but I didn't care. I was too tired to sort who was real and who was acting. I just knew, if I argued, I'd lose. If I stayed silent, they'd end up clawing at each other. I don't need to win. I just want peace. And that peace doesn't need anyone's permission. He was sitting on the couch, saw me laughing and asked, "What's so funny?" I looked at him, tilted my head slightly, the kind of look that says, "Are you sure you want to know?" Then I said, calm and steady, "Everyone's got one line. I've got two. She's 6 weeks. Congrats, you've just unlocked legendary dad mode." He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Maybe his moral system was rebooting and hadn't loaded the humanity part yet. I stood up, grabbed the plate of chicken, and walked to the sink. As I walked, I said softly but sharply enough to freeze the emotional signal, "I don't need to argue. I just need them to throw themselves at each other." The door didn't slam, but the sound that followed was the noise of a man realizing he's not only losing his wife, but about to lose the lead role in the story he thought he was directing. I didn't yell, didn't go full jealous rage, didn't hire someone to draw caricatures to hang outside his office. I just opened my browser, went to his company's fan page, the place he usually posts stuff like, "We build safety systems from the inside out," and left a review as gentle as a whisper from the heart but as sharp as gel nail scratches on glass. Security systems solid, but the founder's ethics? Easily leaked. No names mentioned, no threatening words, no angry emojis. But ladies, those few gentle lines spread like wildfire burning through a server farm. 2 days later, a junior employee who used to be an intern messaged me, "Hey, did you write that review? Don't worry, I'm not telling anyone, but we're having an emergency internal meeting." I just dropped a smiling eyes emoji, my go-to expression when watching family drama that's not mine. The review I wrote didn't tag anyone or point fingers directly, but anyone at the company who's ever heard my horror dating story automatically knew. And more importantly, got scared. That day, he got called into a meeting. Reason? Damage to personal brand reputation. Yeah, tough luck. Sweet talk the employees into signing NDAs, no problem. But when hit with an anonymous review? No clue how to argue that one. He texted me, "What are you doing? Are you trying to ruin me that badly?" I looked at the message and couldn't help but laugh. Ruin you? Really? What exactly did you build that I'd have to tear down? I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked his entire family on Facebook, Instagram, Zalo, Messenger, and Google Drive, just in case. Maybe a bit much, but toxic relationships need to be cleaned out like a freezer in the summer. Next, I sat down and wrote birth announcement cards. Sent them only to my parents. No mention of his name, no family hashtags, no long romantic captions, like a love letter to our little world. Just, "Mom and baby are fine. Thanks to everyone for your care." Simple, clean, like a bullet point wiping out an account. Then I opened his work email, found HR, and sent a super short message. "I request the removal of spouse information from the internal HR records. Please confirm." An HR lady replied pretty quickly, polite, but with a hint of surprise. "We will update the information. Hope you're doing okay." Yeah, I'm okay. So okay that I wanted to give his whole company a perfect 10 for their professional response. A few days later, I went for a prenatal checkup. When they measured the baby's heartbeat, the doctor looked at me and asked, "Where's the baby's dad?" "Not coming." I adjusted my shirt and smiled softly, like I was about to present a talk titled, "Patience in Modern Relationships," probably still blaming the hormones doctor. The whole clinic was silent for 3 seconds, then the nurse burst out laughing first. I laughed too. Not because I was happy, but because sometimes the pain you can't put into words hides behind a weak joke. Since that day, I switched modes. No longer the victim. No longer the suffering single mom. I'm just me. Strong, sharp, and clear as filtered water in the fridge. I don't call what I'm doing revenge. I call it a system reboot. Every little move, no drama, no audience needed. But every click, every block, every word is how I take back control. Who says women should scream after being betrayed? I choose silent mode. Because silence at the right moment, it echoes louder than any truth speaker system. Maybe he thinks I'm petty, but for someone who's been a bug in someone else's life like me, reviewing your own story is mandatory. And this time, I'm reviewing it straight up. No anonymity, no tagging, but everyone knows exactly who I'm talking about. I gave birth on a rainy afternoon. No announcements, no Instagram stories, no hospital check-ins, no calls except to exactly one taxi. On the way to the hospital, I opened Spotify, picked the playlist Optimism for no reason, and told myself, today I'm bringing a baby into the world. Not another pointless conversation. While I was lying on the table waiting to push, my phone buzzed. He texted, "Have you given birth yet?" I smiled. Pain level 9, but still sharp enough to reply, "Oh, I thought you believed I was imagining things." That was it. I blocked him. Blocked iMessage, Gmail, WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, whatever it took. Basically, I flipped the switch to mute notifications from the universe named him. Then I focused on giving birth. Pain like breathing through my soul, but in my head, I kept repeating, "This is my child, not anyone's consequence." When my baby cried, I didn't cry like in the movies. I just looked at them, smiled softly, and joked to the doctor, "Who do you think they look more like? Me or a certain unnamed option?" A few days later, I came home. No baby pics, no hand-holding posts, no happiness is here quotes. I didn't slap on the strong single mom label either. I just became a mom. And I refused to let anyone define me again. On the birth certificate, the father's last name section was left blank. The baby's name is my mom's initials, the one woman in this world who's loved me unconditionally and never blamed my hormones just because I was hurting. He messaged some mutual friends asking if I was okay. They all replied the same, "She's fine, but you don't need to know." I smiled, not out of triumph, but because finally, I learned you don't always need a conversation to prove you're right. Every morning, I play jazz. My baby sleeps in my arms while I scroll through emails, cleaning out the spam folder of life. I'm not sipping tea on the balcony, reflecting on life, like some cheesy movie ending. I just hit unsubscribe with one arm holding the baby and the other typing goodbye to the relationships I once thought were forever. No happy ending. No slow-motion rain scenes. No moral lessons like everyone deserves forgiveness. Just a woman who was once foolish, but refuses to make the same mistake twice. Hormones might make me sensitive, but the sixth sense of someone who's been foolish? That one never messes up twice. Some betrayals don't need catching in the act, because sooner or later, they'll pack their bags and stand right in the spotlight all by themselves. And some revenge doesn't need shouting. Just living true and being silent at the right moment. I didn't do anything huge, just enough to make the guilty feel small. And just light enough so I still have room to breathe, raise my kid, keep living, and play jazz every morning. What about you guys? Ever been on a dating feels like a side effect ride? Ever blamed for being too sensitive while your gut's screaming, "Hey, something's up"? Drop a comment and share your story. Don't let me do all the talking. I'm feeling pretty lonely here. Oh, and if you think this story's real, funny, and maybe a little salty but hits deep, subscribe now. Because who knows? The next video might just be your twist, told your way. Thanks so much for all your support.